Today you're going to be looking at number lines and turning those number lines into number sentences. You're going to be matching the number line with the number sentence. The first thing that you need to make sure that you look at is how is your number line numbered. Is it the intervals, are they every 1? Are they every 2? Are they every 5? Are they every 10? That's the first thing that you need to look at so that you know how to count, what numbers to count by. So if you look at the first one, it's numbered every 1. 1, 2, 3. Each interval is only worth 1 point. If you look at the second one, 5, 10, 15, 20, each one is worth 5 points. So we're counting by 5. Even though every 10 is numbered, it's still counting by 5. The next one, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. We're counting by 2s. Even though every 4 is numbered, it's still every 2 intervals. Yes.
Wouldn't the bottom be on negative 10 too? Like negative 5 since it's opposite?
Yes, it would. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. No, negative 10 would be here. 12, 14, 16. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16.
Well, why ain't it only ain't you doing opposites?
No. These are just equations that are put on a number line model instead of already written out for you. You are going to see some of these where you have to pair the actual equation with the model that it belongs to. So after you first find out how your number line is numbered, then the next thing you do is start at 0. So for the first one, we're going to start at 0. That's going to tell you, what your first number has to be. So from 0, whichever direction you move from 0, that's your first sign. I'm moving to the right, and the right is a positive move. I'm moving to the right 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So positive 4 is my first number in my equation. Then, that's your addition sign. From that point, I start moving negative and here is where you have to count. That's why it's important that you know what increments your number line is numbered in. From here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have gone back 8 points. And then where you end up at is your answer. So this is the number sentence that matches my number line model that I began with. Yes. How did I get what?
It's not 4, it's negative 4.
Oh, this one or this one? The second one? Because that's where I ended up at.
You count back.
That's where my expression ended. Now, yesterday we wrote down the rules for addition. So once you have your number sentence written out, check it. Are the signs the same or different? Different. You subtract. 8 minus 4 is 4. The higher number is negative, so it's negative 4. So that's how I know everything is good and that it is right. The negative 8, that's when you had to count after you stopped the first time. Where did you go the second time? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's where the 8 came from. I went to the left. I made a negative movement. 8 spaces. Yes.
Okay, so I thought you said that it would have been, the highest number would have been, it would have been.
8 is bigger than 4. 8 gave 4 the sign.
I thought it was 32.
Percent.
We're going to the second one. Well, first, again, we're numbered every 5. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So when we have to count that second number, it's important that you are counting by the right value. So we start at 0. From 0 this time, we're moving to the left. So our first number is negative. We move to the left to negative 30. And then, that's your plus sign. And then we move to the right. The next one is a positive movement. Now you count by 5 because we're moving to the right this many times. I move to the right 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55 times. And I ended at a positive 25 right here. That is the number sentence for this number line. From 0, the direction tells you the sign of the first number. Where your first arrow from 0 ends tells you the number of spaces you moved from 0. We're only doing addition today, which tells us, and then we move another direction, which these, most all of the ones you're doing today do back up and move in the opposite direction. So then we made a positive movement 55 times to get us to a positive 25. And where that second arrow ends is your answer. It might be numbered, it might not be numbered. But if you know what you're counting by, you know what that number should be if it is not numbered.
Don't have to give you at least one number.
No, I don't give you enough numbers to know what it's numbered by. And that's all you have to know. So, once you get your number sentence, you can check it. I have different signs, so my answer is I subtract 55 minus 30 is 25. The higher number is positive, so it's positive 25. Try this one by yourself. It's numbered every 2. You start at 0. Is this one here that starts it? It goes in the positive direction 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 times. The first number is positive 10. And then we back up in a negative direction and we go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24 spaces to end up at a negative 14. This is the number sentence that represents this number line.
I got negative 14 for what you got before, and I got it equals negative 4.
Okay, if we would have stopped here, it would equal negative 4. So this second number is a 24 because I'm counting by 2s, not by 1. So when I left negative 10, I'm counting now by 2s, which would be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15, 18, 20, 22, 24. That's where the 24 came from. And I was moving to the left, which is a negative direction. Now we can check it by the rules from yesterday. The signs are different, so you subtract 24 minus 10 is 14. The higher absolute value is negative, so it's a negative 14. I'm fixing to give you a sheet where one side is the number line, the other side is the number sentences, and you have to pair them up to solve the problem. Are there any questions before I give you that class worksheet out? Yes.
I need to look more on YouTube.
Yes. Any questions that pertain to what we're doing? Joey?
Is the sheet is right against the front, right?
Yes. Selena?
Well, the little box at the top, will that help us too?
These are just examples.
So I mean, like, how would you know where to start? Like, would you always
Where
start at
0 is at, you always start at 0. Jerry? Ask it again.
How did you get 55?
According to
How did I get 55? Because after I got to negative 30 here, I moved to the right, which is positive, and my number line is in 5, 5, 10, 15. So from here to get to where I ended, that's how many I counted. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. That's where the 55 came from. So that's why I made the statement at the very beginning. First thing, you've got to know what your number line is broken into. What is the interval? On the worksheet you're fixing to get, it starts out by every 1. Then you have them numbered every 2. Then you have them numbered every 5. And the last 3 is numbered every 10. So you have to make sure you understand how it's numbered, because that second number is what you count off. They're not giving it to you. They give you the first number and they give you where you end up. You have to count off that second number. And if you don't know what you're counting by, you're not going to get that second number correct. Any other questions?
Somebody picture. Go back in here.